Hello everybody and welcome to another Twilight Zone review. Today it is Season 2, Episode 14, The Whole Truth, written by Rod Serling and starring Jack Carson as Harvey Honeycutt. And let me just say ahead of time, The Whole Truth is a very poor episode, and I will give you 3 reasons why. Number 1, this is one of the videotaped episodes, and this was a very odd and poor choice for a videotaped episode. Number 2, it is supposed to be a comedy, and it is just not funny at all, in my opinion. And number 3, it has a fairly uninteresting premise, and it's executed even worse. Okay, with that being said, I will start talking about this wonderful episode. No, it's really not wonderful. Okay. So we start in a used car lot with our main character, Harvey here, and he's talking to a young couple trying to convince them to buy one of his old cars, saying old cars are better instead of getting a new car. And then after Rod Serling's narration, we see an old man come by the lot, and he basically wants to sell his car, but he warns Harvey that the car is haunted. Of course, Harvey doesn't believe this, and he winds up buying the car from the old man, who seems very happy to get rid of it. So maybe there's really something to this haunting thing. So then we basically, after some time passes by, Harvey goes back out to the couple that were going to buy the older car, and he tells them it's a bad car and he can't sell it to them. So we now find out that the car, really is haunted and that Harvey can't lie anymore. So then we basically go to another scene where Harvey's assistant, the assistant salesman, comes into work and, he tells him the story of what happened and, about what's going on. And then he calls his wife and it's the same old thing. He can't lie to her. He tells her something about, you thought I was doing inventory, but I play poker with the guys or something. Why this is so bad. It's treated like it's the worst thing that's ever happened. I don't know, but this isn't really funny either. Now, all this, I'm summarizing quickly because it's really not interesting at all. This whole entire thing is the first half of the episode, just to establish this. Wow. Okay, so we go to the second part of the episode. And we are still with Harvey and the other salesman. We find out he hasn't sold a car in 3 days, and there's more bad jokes that take place at this point. And then his assistant brings up how he was supposed to get a raise after 6 months, and Harvey gives off some other kind of bad one-liner that isn't funny, tells him he'll never get a raise. So the assistant hits him. Why not just leave? Why hit him? He didn't really say anything that vulgar or insulting. Another thing that makes no sense, but the assistant hits him and leaves. So now Harvey's really in a bad way. He can't get rid of this car. And we go to the next scene where a gentleman comes and he's basically thinking about buying the car. He says it'll be good for his job. I'm not even going to get into the very poor and stereotypical political hints that are made in this episode. I don't feel it's my job to do that. You can make your own conclusions about that. But they are there. There's some really stereotypical and I would say bordering on prejudice things that happen in the second half of the episode. Let me just say that the elderly gentleman thinks that Harvey's using reverse psychology on him so that he'll buy the car, which really makes no sense at all, just like most other things in this episode. Not one of Rod Serling's finest writing moments. So we think maybe this man will buy the car, but then he figures out somehow that Harvey has to tell the truth and that the car really is bad. So he says, I won't buy the car. But the episode doesn't end there. Then we get this awful ending. Let me just say Rod Serling winds up tricking a foreign leader of another country at the time into buying the car, so he's rid of it. Whatever happens to Harvey, I don't know. Whatever happens to the leader, I don't know, and I don't really care, to be honest. I really try not to be harsh, but the end of this episode was quite annoying, and I just wanted this episode to end. And I am very surprised that a show as thought-provoking as Twilight Zone even got into this type of area and agenda at all. So if you couldn't tell by my review, this is a very, very bad Twilight Zone episode in my opinion. Easily up there with the worst we've had so far. It really doesn't. The first half is just just watchable but not very good. The second half is really, really awful, and it really kills off anything the episode could have done at all that would have been interesting. And I'm not going to spend any more time on this, so I give The Whole Truth a 1 out of 5. Don't watch this episode unless you need to watch every episode for completionist's sake. So 1 out of 5 for The Whole Truth, and better times are ahead, I assure you. Thanks for watching.